This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I are playing the Delta Green role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Presence. It was written by Shane Ivey, and it's available from Arc Dream Publishing. Our handler is Nathan Decker, and this is a one-shot. Before we begin, I do need to ask your assistance. We at ITD do not monetize our show with YouTube, but we do have a Patreon where you can give us a small pledge, a couple of dollars a month, to help defray the cost of producing this show. That being said, let's begin our journey into the darkness. Nathan?
All right. Thanks, Thom. It is the morning of April 6th, 2023. It is springtime on the East Coast. Things are starting to warm up, but not to a terrible degree. Sprouts are breaking through. It's generally not so bad. This morning, though, your agents are going to get a call at about 10 a.m. So let's go around and introduce your agent. What are they doing at 10 a.m. and how has this reached them? Let's start with Agent Kinsey.
I am Agent Kinsey. I am a physician, deal in forensics and in some surgery. I am at the moment relaxing because I had a long shift the last couple of days. I just got up. I'm having some coffee and going over some of the files that I've collected on some of the weird stuff that I've seen. Other than that, it's normal day as far as I know.
Very nice. And let's say you have a kind of a secondary phone for this because you know you wouldn't want the number on that. So you're hearing this buzzing from in your office area.
Where did I put that damn phone? Shit. You'd think that a physician would be a little more organized.
And you look at it. It is actually just a text message. It says Customs and Border Patrol Office F at Bradley International Airport. That's north of Hartford, Connecticut. It says 4 p.m.
I go over that a couple times in my head, and then I erase the message.
Very good. Now, this is a Thursday morning. Is there anything you have to do to get there?
Yeah, I probably have to just drive. 4 p.m. will probably take me a couple of hours, but that's all. So I'm not in an immediate rush, but I'll get together my my go bag with the stuff that I usually bring, which is medical instruments, stuff to make examinations. I don't know why they call me other than the fact that they're going to make me look at more weird shit.
Very nice.
But I will get my gun. Make sure I have it on me.
That's probably smart. In that case, speaking of guns, Agent Kramer, what are you doing at 10 o'clock in the morning?
Fine. Best yet. All right. Oh, damn it. No. Down 5 seconds. Oh, just cleaning, preparing, being ready. Oh, damn, I have to take the garbage out too. All right, start getting the garbage bags ready because I know they're going to be picking up any second now.
Mm-hmm. And you're seeing the garbage truck coming down the street as you also start to hear that ring, 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 ring back in the house.
All right, sorry, run back in.
Yep. And you also, yes, you just see this text message as you're looking at it. Yeah, the instinct is to answer it, apparently. It is a text message
Oh,
of the same Bradley International Airport, 4 p.m. And of course, you see the garbage truck pass by. What's Agent Kramer? Is there anybody he has to tell? Anybody he has to let know that he's running off for the day?
for this here, um, I'm good. I'll text my brother
Eh,
and just let him know I'm going to be gone for the next couple of days. I'll call him when I get back.
excellent. Yeah, you shoot off one to Scott, we'll say,
Yeah,
and you just get a thumbs up back, but you can head out the door as well.
yeah. I
And
go to my little rent a car.
nice, excellent. Agent Carrot.
So, Agent Carrot would have just touched down in LaGuardia Airport, having just delivered some important documentation to the Canadian Prime Minister's office. And on his way back, walked through security. He doesn't have to go through security. He just sort of hops the line and wanders through with his particular privileges. Um, Feels his briefcase buzz in the pattern that only the specific phone could, and walks into the back security rooms and into an interrogation room where he promptly covers the camera, opens his briefcase, removes the specific phone for operas, and then to keep on theme with everyone else, puts it up to his ear. No. Retrieves
Damn.
the information.
Yep.
Spends about 5 to 10 minutes making arrangements, allowing a small diplomatic plane to fuel up and for a pilot to be found, and then pulls his strings,
I love it.
uh,
Oh,
goes and retrieves his piece from his storage near the airport,
mhm.
conceals it in his luggage, then walks straight back through security and onto his plane off to Bradley International Airport.
I love it. Is there anybody you have to let know that I'm not taking any jobs for the moment?
Well, Agent Geller is his superior officer, and so he would need a level of information as to what's going on. But his relationship with Geller is so good that he can essentially give a quick field report about how the
Okay.
handoff went, um, show images of his briefcase being empty of the important documents as well as proof of receipt,
Very
and
good.
then carry on with his day.
Okay. Very nice. Just for kicks and grins, can you roll for your bond score? So you want to be under your bond times 5.
96 does not look positive.
Okay. Agent Geller understands and won't put up too much of a fight, but lose a point off of that bond as they're basically you're getting the I'll cover for you this time, but don't push it.
Understood, sir.
And yeah, but you have your own plane, which is pretty rad. A lot better than driving in a rent-a-car. Agent Kendrick, what are you up to at 10 a.m.?
Yeah, so Agent Kendrick was recently discharged from the military, and he really doesn't know any other life. So he's been living at home with his mother, and he kind of spends his days like getting fit, just jogging, doing push-ups, that sort of thing. He doesn't really know civilian life very well, and he's just kind of waiting around for a call. So I imagine he's probably out for a run when he gets the call. And by the way, I'm starting as a damaged veteran. So
Yes.
he's automatically adapted to violence, but he's also got some issues that cause charisma loss and
Hmm.
affect his bonds a little bit. So he's a little disturbed. and people around him are kind of aware of it, but he's ready to go to work. So
Excellent. For you, you're living with your mother at this point, so you know she's gonna notice if you just bail, right?
yeah,
What are you telling her? Or are
I
you?
would I would just text her and just be like, don't wait up.
Okay.
Like I won't be home for dinner, you know, don't wait up, that kind of thing. Worry about tomorrow.
I love it. All right. And lastly, Agent Crispy.
I've just dropped my son Davis off at school about an hour ago, and I went to the town library. I could only find after the divorce a crappy apartment, like a county over, so I had to drive him in. This is my week to have Davis, and I'm at the town library looking through old newspaper clippings, trying to figure out where it all went wrong. Um, I get the text, put it convincingly to my ear. Wait, oh, and realize it's time for a night at the opera. I've been waiting for this with some anticipation. I'm excited to have an opportunity to prove to myself that they haven't gotten the best of me yet, boys. But I have to tell my not quite ex-wife, but separated, and the divorce is in process. That I need her to pick Davis up a day early. In theory, I should be picking him up today and giving him back tomorrow, but we'll see how
Oh,
she takes it.
yeah, roll on that bond too, because I love that mechanic.
67 over 5 times the bond is 50.
Lose one off of that as well, as Linda is not 100% on board with this. She reminds you that she had a few things at work and it won't be that easy, but you are still able to convince her. It's just difficult.
I'll
And
also
we'll,
text
yeah,
a mutual friend to make sure that Davis is safe tonight.
yes, they will text you once Linda picks them up. Maybe they'll even pick them up from school. And we'll fast forward from there to the five of you meeting in this airport. It's kind of the fluorescent lights, nice beige walls. There's a conference table in the middle with uncomfortable looking chairs and a empty donut box that has been left behind by someone. And what's it look like as the five of you are waiting for your handler to arrive?
I'll walk up to the
Gentlemen.
donut box and slam it off the table. Fucking amateurs.
I think I would stand quietly in the background, kind of like parade rest, like hands behind the back.
I think I flipped
Do
to a new page.
we have we worked together before as K Squad or K?
That's a good question. I imagine at least a couple of you have. It's a little large. Usually, you know that you guys work in cells of three. So to have five, you might have some new people on there. Is there anybody that is new to this whole
I'd
group?
be new.
Okay.
I
So
I would say new to Delta Green, yeah.
Yeah.
love it.
I might recognize maybe Agent Kendrick. Not sure because we both have a military background. We might have gone through
Which part of the military?
a Rangers.
We might have, yeah. We might know each other actually.
That yeah, so it sounds like Carrot and Kinsey, we'll say you've been on at least a couple missions. These three new folk, you've heard about them, obviously. Like, you know, you're getting new members to
Yeah.
your cell. You've been informed. There's a little bit of a you will train the new crop so that when you retire, there will be a K cell continuing.
So
Three
they've
greenhorns,
probably,
huh?
yeah. I mean, we'll do okay. I'm my role in this whole thing is physician, surgeon, forensics guy. Uh, Looks like we got a couple of military boys, ex-military. So you guys would be the gunfire in the front if we need it. And
Chief
federal agent,
right there.
that always helps getting ourselves into places that we need to get into.
You fellas
I
here
won't
for
ask.
Puccini?
Yeah, I think I'm naturally going to gravitate over towards Agent Kramer. Stand
Yeah.
next to him.
And yeah, likewise, I'll just sort of be parade rest.
Yeah, it's going to be another snafu. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. This feels odd only because they're bringing me in. If it was just a an operation to get rid of something, then I probably wouldn't be here. So it's going to be something we're going to have to figure out.
Are they going to drop in an officer for the mission, or
Oh, no, but the handler should be here by now. Handler will tell us everything that we're supposed to do. Probably somebody from uh, uh, B cell, or I don't know.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you're kind of saying this. What's Agent Crispy? Just looking around.
I think I'm gravitating towards at this. I think Agent Kinsey has taken, in my eyes, the knows what he's doingest attitude, and I've gravitated towards him. I've never been to an opera before, but I
Oh,
was exposed to Delta Green ambiently in the final catastrophe that led to my retirement from the ATF, uh, and so I have vengeful motives, but also deep interest in my own well-being, which attracts me imminently to our physician,
well,
who seems to have been to the
Crispy,
opera several times.
uh, if you go into every situation expecting to see something terrifying and bizarre, then you'll be less affected by it than when you see something terrifying and bizarre. It's usually not that bad. It's usually a lot of blood and gore, but if you can get used
Blood
to
and
the
gore
blood
I've
and gore.
seen, but there's some strange things out there, Agent Kinsey. I don't know. It all goes so deep. I don't know where
Well,
it ends.
once we get settled and in wherever they're going to send us, then we can swap war stories in the evenings.
I'll stick by you.
And it is about 5 minutes late, past the hour, when a woman shows up, opens the door to there, and bustles in quickly. She looks maybe mid-50s. She's wearing a charcoal business suit. Very average kind of look, but you notice the roots in her hair are starting to show. And the first thing she does is she just takes the light dimmer and takes it to about half and walks to the front of the room and plops down a file. All right, you five are the interested parties here, correct?
Correct.
Yep.
Great. I love that you all managed to mobilize. We are on a bit of a time frame here, so I'm not going to waste a lot of time. Um, Agent Kinsey, can you make a medical roll of some kind?
Yeah.
Or anybody that has like a pharmacy or medicine.
Well, I could check my sheet to see what I've got, but I actually got a 99, which
Yeah.
is the worst roll that you can get. So, despite my medical knowledge,
Yeah, it's
I can
it's
help.
easy
something's
to
wrong.
tell. Like it just looks like she's got a headache just
Yeah,
at the front as she's going there. The lights are a little
maybe a migraine. She
rough.
turned the light down.
Yeah. All right. Um, at any rate, so last night our friends at the NSA, well, their algorithms noticed something interesting. There was a uh smartwatch. You know what a smartwatch is?
Sure.
Seen these? Yeah, the got like Wi-Fi and stuff. Well, there was a smartphone watch that someone had. The SIM card received a text message in Alabama at 2:03 a.m. That's 1:03 in the local time there. And then at 3:07 it receives another text message in South Vermont. So that was
Are
odd, we thought.
are you giving us the same time? Are you saying that there was an hour between?
2:03, correct. It is a 2:03 Eastern to 3:07 Eastern time in Vermont.
Okay.
How do you know it's not somebody just spoofing the SIM card?
We considered that, and that was probably what would have come out of the algorithm if we didn't find a young woman uh, at a local golf course in Vermont, outside of. She looks like she is kind of nursing that headache, and she goes to the report. A Stratton Mountain Resort. It's a golf club thing. Um, so they found this young girl by the name of Robin Bullock, and she seemed, at least from what I know, they've taken her to the hospital. She doesn't seem fully there necessarily from what we see. But as far as we know, she was one place and then another far too fast. And unless she got on a jet plane,
That's
I don't know
still jet plane couldn't have gotten her there in an hour.
exactly.
Wait, I'm sorry. Just to clarify that I have this all very clearly. The wristwatch was on her wrist
Yes.
in Alabama. And you know
Yes.
that how? How do you know that it was actually that she was
It-
ever in Alabama? Do you have independent?
It's a good question. First of all, it's just the card. I did some calling around, pretended to be with her school and whatnot. Uh, she was in Alabama last night, as far as anyone could tell. And yeah, she just kind of stumbled out of the woods today.
So I assume you have
She's
some
not.
kind of theory.
Uh, I have no theory whatsoever, but I have a lot of information for you. And she slides that folder over to you, and you can kind of look at it. It's you have her driver's license, her photo, her vehicle registration, social media information, names of relatives. Looks like she's got a couple sisters and parents are still alive. Social security number, tax returns, pretty much anything you could get very quickly, she has. Now, I don't know what's going on here. It may be that nothing is going on here, in which case we moved quickly for nothing. But so far, no one we know has died. Nothing. This is, we are ahead of things for once in our life, thanks to our friends. I just, I want us to move fast on this.
Why
Questions?
the urgency?
Absolutely.
Um, well, that's a thank you. I'm sorry. And she's looking something up. Uh, yeah, I'm sorry. The urgency is that, as far as I know, she's leaving the hospital soon. Um, she got taken to a Grace Cottage Family Health and Hospital in Townsend, Vermont, um, where she has been checked in. I've made some calls. Sounds like the sister might be coming that way based on flight sales, that sort of thing. So I would like for you to get there before her and figure out what the hell is going on. If anything, if nothing's going on, just,
Yeah.
you know, back into the woodwork. Doesn't matter, but this seems weird.
All right. You have tickets for us? We can get there. I don't know how far that is from.
Um, it's not too bad. It's about a 2 hour drive.
Okay.
So, uh, yeah,
Got a rental.
you're gonna have to get your own, and that is part of the problem, I'm afraid. I have no cover for you.
Okay. Well, we're at the
If you can,
airport, so we can get a Hertz rent a car.
yeah,
Uh,
but if you can sell this to some organization, get a warrant of some kind, some case, absolutely feel free to go for it. But otherwise, you are technically civilians, so be aware you don't have anything official to back you up.
yeah. We can talk about it in the car as we're going. What sort of strategy? We'll come up with a strategy.
Great.
Ma'am, are you all right? You seem a little out of it.
Yeah, I'm fine. It's been a long day.
Are we going to have access to weapons or can we bring our own?
Uh, you can
Should we
feel
bring our
free
own?
to bring your own. And she looks at you. You obviously look like a soldier. That said, I would not, you're going into a hospital. Be careful of what you show off. This is,
Oh,
after
I'm
all,
not
a
going to bring them. Not,
clandestine.
Right.
Yes.
yeah, definitely not into a hospital. But if we're going to see some action in another city, I'd like to have them with us.
Yeah, nothing that's registered with you though. You don't want any way to trace it back to you. All right. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes. Sorry. Here's my burner phone number.
All
And
right.
she'll give you a phone number that all of you can have access to. If you find anything, contact me. If you need anything, contact me and I'll do my best to get it for you.
Ma'am, can you give us a name?
Uh, and she legitimately has to like pause and think. Agent Jeepers.
Keepers.
Yep.
All right, ma'am. Thank you.
Right. Good luck, boys. She'll
Thank you, ma'am.
make sure you have all that information and then
Yeah.
head out the door.
Bring it with us. Yeah, I'd suggest we'll go to Hertz. We'll rent I don't know, an SUV. We could all fit in an SUV, right?
Oh yeah. Easily.
Who has the
Does
best
anybody-
drive? I have a 40.
40 seat.
Yeah,
I'm
you
a
can have
50.
it. I'm a
Uh,
20.
It's just highway driving. We don't really need to worry about
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
ability.
yeah.
Whoever
Um,
wants to drive.
We can trade off.
And she's gone now, right?
Yes, she has left the room.
Okay. Yeah, I just say clearly to everyone in a low voice, she's not telling us everything.
That's how
No,
this works.
she might not know everything. That's the thing.
This
She
is
may
a
have
lot.
also been up for the last 3 days trying to find information on all this, which is why she might be so tired.
There's a lot of resource and firepower and knowledge to go on a missing lady.
If we need something, we'll procure it. If we can't get it legally, we'll get it illegally, and we'll just make sure that we get this job done. It might be nothing. We might walk in there and she might have said, "My boyfriend's really fast on a motorcycle" or something. It's a little too fast, I think.
And how long are we
Um,
now since the teleportation incident? Has it been like 25 hours?
no, this is still this morning. So she will include in this a bit of a timeline. At 2:03 a.m., she got Robin Bullock, who, to kind of give a description, from her driver's license, from her social media, looks like a perfectly average 19-year-old who is going to college. She is a young black woman with very like she seems like she likes to be very social. So there's a lot of like party pictures, but beyond that, like looking at her academic records seems pretty good. Like nothing crazy stand out there at all. So when you see this text in Alabama, then 307, she's roaming in Vermont. And then you start getting these times that like, oh, about 15 minutes later, an algorithm catches it. Somebody flags it. And then at 7:36 this morning, that's when this person in Stratton, Vermont calls 911 about a young woman in distress. Uh, an officer brings her to the hospital and it is funneled to you from there. So at this point, it is 4 o'clock the same day.
Yeah. So
And we have pictures of her in Alabama. We actually like have ID photos for her.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yep.
Good.
All
I
right.
was going to
So
ask on the ride. What? Sorry. Yeah.
I was just going to say, can we assume then that we get the car?
Yeah. Yeah. That's
And,
Yeah.
easily
I
done.
use fake ID and all that stuff that we prepared beforehand. Go ahead.
I was going to ask on the ride. We have her social media information. I was curious about what she was up to in the time immediately before this. Like,
Yeah.
she,
Jeepers said something about her coming out of the woods or
Mhm.
on a oh, that may be significant. It may not be. I'd suggest we check um, astronomy charts at the moment to see if there's any. That doesn't always mean anything, but sometimes you never know. The phase of the moon.
Well, that's
Um,
very easy to do. It is, in fact, the first day of a full moon. And
it may mean
Agent
something, may not.
Crispy, yeah, can you make a search roll as you start looking through? You could very clearly see that she has done a couple postings the previous few days leading up to it, but nothing is standing out. How'd you do?
82 over 50.
Okay. Um, you do see that it looks like she had some pictures taken of her. She's like tagged in them. She was out last night at a place called The Hunt. Looks like it's in Birmingham, Alabama. And it looks like a club with pretty, I don't want to say upscale, but it's not a dive. It looks like it's pretty current. The clientele look young for the most part. But
Like a
you're not.
dancing club, you mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm curious, does the documentation we have log the text of the text message that started this whole set of events?
Mhm. Yeah, but it's the first one is kind of an innocuous, just sort of like it was great seeing you at the club, that sort of thing. Uh,
Okay.
and the one later, that 3 o'clock one, that's more of a like, where'd you go? And she has since that point, like that's not the last text, but that was kind of the break there is there are a few more of those like, where are
Okay.
you, Robin?
Okay.
Question
But
mark,
there's not
call me.
but there's nothing more significant than just back and forth chatter.
Yeah, and she's not texting back. It's very much just like a, call me as soon as you see this. Are you okay? That sort of thing. She's not responding at all.
Okay.
So it really does sound like she just vanished from one place and arrived at the next. At
Yeah.
least within an hour. There's kind of a missing hour there. Um, we need to find a place to stay in where we're going, Ramada Inn or something like that. We could call ahead,
Yeah.
book that.
Yeah, the hospital she's at is kind of at the edge of a small town, and it's not it's at the edge of Townsend. Um, and it's not a very big town. It's like 1,000 plus ish people. Um, it's got a few shops, a couple schools, and then the hospital, which also doesn't seem very big. It's probably a lot of the outlying areas would come in here.
There's probably a Holiday Inn or a Ramada Inn or
Yeah.
something there.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have to think, what cover are we going to, how are we going to approach her to talk to her? Are we going to pretend to be feds? Why would we talk to her?
Is she in the hospital now? That where we can expect to find her?
Yes, that is your understanding, is she is in the hospital, and you think the sister is probably going to get there at about 8:30 tonight. So
Yeah.
you are currently ahead of her. It's you're going to arrive in town around 7 o'clock. So you got about an hour and a half.
I mean, if I can get there before, then I can at least pretend that I'm family physician.
Yeah. And we shouldn't all go in with you just in case that story fails. We want to try another angle with fresh faces.
She's
Yes.
her sister's going to come to pick her up, and then probably take her home. But that's a drive all the way back to Alabama.
Make a distance.
Do we
Is
know
there any
what
world?
brand of smartwatch this is?
Yes. It's a Samsung. No, I don't
Okay.
particularly know, but yeah,
It's not an
you would
iPhone.
know. Yeah, you would know the
Yeah.
brand. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Agent Kinsey, if we stop off at a retail outlet
Uh-huh.
and purchase a like for like watch, I would not be upset if perhaps an accidental switcheroo took place where I could then analyze the data on her smartwatch. We can always return it, of course, but
Well, yeah, or
you know,
you could also hack into the new one, so that we have access to anything that happens to her or data.
very true.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
I think we'll
Getting a
probably
replacement would be very easy to do, as you know the model and the make. It probably wouldn't look perfectly the same, but
might
probably
not
like
notice the difference.
close. Yeah, as long as she doesn't have like a cover. But even that, you'd know you can probably snap that off and replace it if you're sneaky about it.
Well, you said it's a smart watch.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a one there. So like they might have like a little plastic cover. Sometimes they
Yeah.
do to personalize
Well,
it, but
she might have a different band
yeah.
on it. That's the one that we
Yep.
don't know. And then I don't know what else. I mean, we can just sort of improvise. Somebody's got to sort of set up our headquarters, which will be
You know,
at the
depending
end.
on her condition, we could potentially be like a social worker, something. I don't know, but I think the
Could,
doctor
could
is a good start.
The big problem's the hospital. Hospitals, contrary to what you see on TV, you can't just easily walk into a hospital and pretend to be a doctor without everybody not recognizing you. But I can
Yeah.
say
could you find a
I'm
discarded visitor's badge, and sort of observing a little bit of the traffic in and out, find a visitor's badge? Do we know what room she's in? Could you find a visitor's badge for the same floor? Often, if you
I think
have that, people aren't going to challenge you.
I think I can
Sure.
just do it the regular means. I can say that I'm a family physician that got here first, or maybe not even that. I can say that I'm a physician hired by the family to come over and take a look at her because I'm local.
Yeah, and
And
that's a fair
they,
point with the size of this hospital. You're thinking like maybe a staff of 40. Like
right.
it's really not a very big one, so it would probably be a little difficult to just be like, "Yes, I walked by you earlier." They'd probably recognize you.
But if they check my credentials, they'll see that I'm a medical doctor. That's all been
Take
set
take
up ahead of time.
take a voice recorder, or better yet, like a little.
Oh yeah, yeah, on my burner phone.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it sounds like Kinsey's going to the hospital. Is anyone accompanying him?
I'll drive him.
I will be setting up the base of operations.
Why don't Crispy, you come with me? Yeah,
Okay, I think that makes sense.
I don't anticipate any danger at all. It's just you'll be there as my assistant. I don't know.
I'll go.
Carry a bag.
What was that, Agent Kramer?
Oh, I'll go with Agent Carrot for a base setup.
Very good. Yeah. And then Kendrick, you can obviously regroup with them, or you can stay at the hospital. The choice is up to you.
No, I'm gonna just stay at the hospital. I'll watch the outside.
Okay.
Just stay in the car.
Very good. In that case, we will start with the people at the hospital, and then we will return to those setting up base camp, kind of getting the general supplies. I trust you guys to kind of figure that among yourselves. I won't, you got to get your lye, your dissolving sort of things. You get it.
Chips,
You're experts. Yeah, chips.
salsa.
So, arriving at the hospital, It is as small as you expect. You see some cars parked outside, but it's really nestled in kind of the Vermont hills here, right? As I think a lot of heavy trees around. As you were driving, you just saw forest all around you. This feels remote, even while in civilization. But going inside, you see there is just a single receptionist waiting there. Uh, he looks kind of bored, maybe doing like a little game on his phone while he waits, but he straightens up when he sees you. Yes, how can I help you, gentlemen?
Yeah. What time is it as we're here?
It's about 7 o'clock.
Okay, 7 p.m. Yeah, good evening. I'm coming to see a patient. I didn't write down her name.
Robin Bullock.
Robin Bullock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, she was admitted earlier today.
Okay.
I'm a family physician, hired by the family.
I wasn't aware there was and you see he's kind of like looking through some things. I don't remember hearing a family physician.
Well, yeah, I mean they called me. Um, I've dealt with members of the family before. Here's my credentials, and I'll show him my
Yeah.
credentials.
Give me a persuade roll.
Okay. Persuade, yeah.
Is there any way I, by
Yeah.
the cast of my face, can lend to the legitimacy of this presentation? Stand medically.
I would say it
Okay,
doesn't hurt.
I got a double O,
Oh, okay.
which is still just a regular
Just a regular.
pass.
Um, and yeah, he kind of looks between the two. So assistant?
Yeah, just yeah.
Okay.
Apprentice, assistant, friend.
Sure. I don't have anything. You're gonna have to talk with Imbla. I'm sorry, Dr. Haugen.
Of
Uh,
course.
yeah, she's in the back. I'll show you two there. Make sure you sign in. He,
Yep.
runs you
Sign
through
in.
all the rigmarole. You get your visitors badges, all that jazz. And he walks you back, and you see there is a very Norwegian, beautiful blonde hair, uh, statuesque frame. Dr. Haugen appears mid-50s as well. She's looking at a chart outside of a room that you can very clearly see is labeled Robin Bullock. You can kind of glance
Yeah.
inside. I don't know if they labeled, they probably don't, but you get it. It's her room.
Right.
But this woman looks at you. Yes, can I help you?
Oh, hi. You're Dr. Haugen?
I am, yes.
Hi. I'm Robin's family physician. I was not very far away, and so when they told me she was here, I came to see what the problem was. Is everything all right? Is she
Um,
stable?
yeah, and well, I'll let your previous role ride of that as she does seem a little suspicious though of
Mhm.
I'm sorry, Emily didn't mention a family physician, but I mean, family's got money, I guess. Yes, Robin in there. Uh, honestly, she's looking all right. We did some blood work on her. Looks like she's positive for benzodiazepine and midazolam. And if I'm saying that wrong, she says it right. Um, which Agent Kinsey, you would just your medical know, you would know that that second one is known as Versed, which is a quite powerful sedative that prevents memory like forming.
Oh,
Usually lasts a couple hours, 2 or 3.
and the benzodiazepine, that's
Uh, kind of the same sort of thing.
okay.
That's the like the technical umbrella term.
Was was this something administered by you, or
No,
she just it's in
no,
the
she just had it. But beyond that, I mean, she's got some marks from the trees, maybe a little bit of exposure, like just being out in the woods with no food or water for a few hours, will do it. Honestly, she looks like she was on drugs. So,
well, I not really can't disclose that sort of thing in the family, but You know, kids these days.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, she seems all right. I'm happy to release her to her sister when she shows up.
Yeah, she should be here within the hour or two.
Excellent.
All right.
And
May I
she's
see
just
the
kind of
patient?
looking at you. Oh, yeah, I guess you can, please, gentlemen, this way. And you walk into the room and you see this young woman wearing the hospital gown. Her clothes are kind of put off in the corner. Looks like all of her stuff is basically over there. Um, but especially looking at her now, you can see that she is kind of eyes down and fidgety sort of thing. And she kind of, tenses up, draws within herself when the two of you enter the room.
I'm going to rely on my sort of bedside manner as a physician. I'm also going to rely on that I've told this doctor
Mhm.
that I'm a friend of the family, but of course I haven't told Robin that I'm a friend of the family, so she'll just think I'm another doctor.
Yep.
And I'll come in and I'll say, "Well, Miss Robin, how are you doing?" And I'll take her chart and I'll look it over.
Mhm. And she's definitely just kind of staying looking down. The doctor is in this room with you, just so you're
Right.
aware of that. She is kind of standing by, and she's just curled over like, I'm fine, fine.
I'm Dr. Barista. You might remember me. Let's have a look at
I
you.
don't I
Are
don't
you?
remember you.
Well, that's all right. I'm a friend of the family. Let me examine you.
Mm,
Do you recall what happened?
Um, yeah, I was just partying too. Don't touch. And she's like, if you're moving towards her, she's kind of like, no, nah, no, no, no,
It's all right.
no, no. I don't know you. I don't know you. Uh, I, I, I was just partying.
You were partying with friends.
Yes.
Um, do I know the name of the other person that was on her
Uh,
phone?
yeah, you would know the friends' names.
Stella, Jennifer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a Sharon. Yeah, yeah, whatever. There's another name on there that you could drop.
Okay. Yeah. Um, I was told you were out with friends. You were out with Jennifer.
Yeah, like nights ago.
Okay.
Yeah, I flew up here a few days back to meet with some friends up here.
You know what? Do you know what? Sorry, I don't know how to ask it. Did you take any recreational drugs?
Um,
It's all right. I'm a physician. You can tell me.
and I mean, what's your human at between Crispy and Kinsey?
My
I have
human is at
60
50.
human.
Yeah. And what was that, Crispy?
60.
Okay. Um, she pauses and is like, yeah, yeah, I was taking drugs. And both of you can see, like, at this point, she has told you at least three lies of when she was doing that. Like, she didn't fly up here and she didn't take any drugs, as far as she's aware. She's not that good of a liar.
So she's telling us she didn't take the drugs, even though we found drugs in her
No,
system.
she's telling you she took drugs,
Oh,
but she's lying. She's
So,
telling you that
well,
she
we
took
know that
drugs
she
and
has drugs in her system.
yep.
So she's okay. Well, your sister is on the way.
Good. Yeah, great.
Um, it's probably a little disorienting that you find yourself here. Um, we're just trying to find out exactly what happened. What's the last thing that you remember uh, at the party?
Um, it was just they'd brought some like acid, and I did some of that with some people in the woods, and she's rattling off this story. It kind of continues. None of it is true.
It seems like she's making it up off.
She's
Yeah.
100%, she is covering something up.
And is she covering up something that she knows that she doesn't want us to know, or does she have complete amnesia and is confabulating to give us a story?
Make a human roll.
24 under 60.
Okay. There is an element of she doesn't remember there. Like you know, with the drugs she has in her system, she probably has some missing time. But she is actively trying to take you off the trail of asking questions about her. And like there are three people in this room asking her questions pointedly, and she's just lying to she's telling you what you want to hear, is that, yes, I did drugs in the woods. My memory is shot. I flew up here a few days ago. That's it. That's all. Yep.
I'm trying to think if there's any other ways I can trick her into giving us information. I'm thinking if she's willing to tell us that she did drugs and she's covering something up, then she did something worse than do drugs. And that's disturbing. But I'm not sure that there's any way to get anything out of her.
Can I shepherd Dr. Haugen out of the room? How is she doing? I imagine I'm standing near her. Well,
yeah, Dr. Haugen's just kind of watching as she's going. She's listening to these. She's got a very stoic face where she's not letting on what's happening. But yeah, what do you say to her?
Oh, Dr. Haugen, Dr. Burst and I have been close friends of the family for a very long time. I'd tacitly appreciate it if we could step out into the hallway and have a short discussion about young Robin's state here. I would like to give an honest report to her parents out of a kind of fatherly concern.
Sure. Yeah. The doctor will go out. She's not walking away from the door, but she'll walk out with you into the hallway.
Oh, well, it's so wonderful of you to take care of Robin, and you have such a lovely hospital here. And tell me about where you grew up and how's things going? Is work good? And your children, do you have any? You know,
yeah,
my son.
He persuade roll, I think, is you're trying to kind of take her off the scent here.
On the theory that this will make Robin more comfortable.
Yeah.
Oof. I grab Robin by the neck and say, "Tell me what you know."
64 over 50.
All right. The doctor is out in the hallway with you, and these questions are washing over her, but she's kind of getting impatient. So, Kinsey, you don't have a lot of time alone with Robin in the room. What are you doing?
What I'm going to quickly try to do is I'm going to ask her if she can give me a list of some of her friends that were at the party.
And she starts making up names, and she when you have to make up names, it's a struggle. And just like Patricia and Billy and yeah, et cetera, et cetera.
All right. Well, without using any kind of coercion there's not really anything I can do. I could, if I had something like sodium pentothal, but I don't know. That's a little, that'll be picked up pretty easily. Well, your sister will be here soon, and hopefully everything will be all right. If you can remember anything, why don't you give me a
Yeah.
call?
Mhm. Yeah.
But I'm
Look it
not
up.
going to give her a real number.
Yeah. Just give
Just
her a
doing it
number.
mostly to, yeah.
And
And then I'll
yeah,
step back out of the room.
yeah. Agent Crispy, you are talking to this doctor as Agent Kinsey walks out the door, and the door is one of those that like kind of slowly swings shut. And just for that moment, you are looking in the room and you see Robin look up and catch you in the eyes. And I need you to make a sanity roll.
Yeah. Okay. 82, which I am looking at the sheet. Sanity. 82 over 60.
Okay, okay. I need you to roll a d6.
Oh
Oh
boy.
my.
2.
Okay. You meet her eyes and you feel like she's exhausted. They're red around. She's probably been crying and that sort of thing. And there's this strange communion that you share in that moment. And you have this sudden feeling that just behind you, there is this blank spot that is connecting the two of you, something massive that you know has been there the whole time, but you've never thought about it. And you can feel it creating you, that you are actively feeling your skin cells grow out of you. You are feeling the death as they fall off, and you are feeling Robin's at the same time, and Kinsey next to you, and the doctor, and you're so hungry you could almost just start biting into yourself, and you're having this kind of oneness feeling. And it is about you're just kind of lost in this. And from Kinsey's perspective, at exactly the same time, both Agent Crispy and Robin start screaming. And I want to cut from there back to the two at base camp. What are you guys doing? Like, how are you? You've kind of got what the Holiday Inn set up. What else are you doing?
Yeah, two adjoining rooms. Um, Once we're set up, I'm gonna cannibalize the desk and put a small computer on,
Hmm.
uh, and then start pinning the different locations where the cell phone, sorry, the smartwatch had pinged. So
Nice.
first in Alabama at the hunt, and
Hmm.
then into the golf course, and then the woods around, and sort of just
Yeah.
draw an as the crows flies line between the two pockets of areas, and then very specific, well, as close to as specific as I can go. Where on the golf course she was found from, and then
Yeah.
go from there.
Yeah. I love it. You've got enough computer science that this is straightforward with the amount of time you have, especially. Um, I just posted a map as the kind of the that's the last location. The problem, of course, is that GPS, especially as you're kind of getting out in the hills of Alabama, if there's bad weather, which there was that night, you're getting a very imprecise last spot. So you kind of have this large, I think it's 5 kilometer area that was her last ping. And when she gets into Vermont, it's roaming. So again, you kind of have this rough feel, and you see it works out, and you're like, I see the golf course here. Yeah, she's probably a little northwest of the golf course when she shows up and then wanders through this forest. Um, do you think maybe the officer might know more about that, since he's a local? But yeah, From the GPS, you're only getting kind of imprecise of that last moment. But you do see as well is she left the hunt and drove for a while and stopped for about 15 minutes before going towards this the spot where she disappeared out of Alabama. Like she very clearly sat and waited for a little bit.
Hmm.
Very strange. It's not out of the question that she could have been picked up and taken in that sort of direction, I suppose. Um, the the travel is so strange. Um, yeah, the next thing I'd want to try and do is attempt to get some level of backdoor or access to the uh, preliminary police reporting
Mhm.
um, in an attempt to just sort of have an idea of what they know, and then we
Uh,
can sort of cross-reference with what we know.
do a bureaucracy check, I think,
For
is
sure.
trying to get through that.
Not looking good. I'm rolling very badly today. Yes, I rolled an 80 over 60.
Okay. Um, I will tell you what you would know is you know that the officer, especially in this area, probably has a body camera. So, there might be something there, and you can see like, oh, there's a file that should be there from that night, but maybe it just hasn't uploaded it yet. It was this morning. He probably works the night shifts or early morning shifts, so he'd probably be starting in a few hours. Like he's probably asleep right now. Um, but yeah, you're not able to get too far into the files.
Yeah, I mean, short of physically attending the police station, one wouldn't expect to be able to do
Right.
too much. Could I potentially access personnel files and find out where this officer lives? No
Uh,
reason.
I'm gonna let that previous one roll of it's tough to get.
Yeah,
Maybe
for
if you
sure.
were on a computer there, you could probably just do it.
No, that's completely fair enough.
Hmm.
Awesome. Well, beyond you know, manually tracking the replacement watch and seeing that it's still at the hospital because the
Yeah.
others haven't left yet.
Yep.
Um, I'm sort of standing by, keeping tabs on things. So if there's anything other people would like to do, I pass the spotlight over.
Sure, at the base camp, our rooms, I'll
Yeah.
go. I'd like to just quickly get a feel of how many people work at this hotel motel we're at. I'm
Mhm.
guessing this is a pretty small town, so I'm guessing
Yeah.
it's probably a small motel, and so I'm guessing one or two people work there. And I
Yeah,
also
that's fair.
I'd
They
like to,
probably do both, front desk and cleaning and a few
yeah,
other odd ends. Yeah.
like Schitt's Creek or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
So I'd also like to kind of go around and kind of get an idea of how many other people are staying in this, especially if they're adjacent
Mhm.
to us. And I'd also like to sort of get a full layout of like what are quick exit routes, be very familiar with the layout of the location, and then also like what's one block in each direction. So basically, I'm going to do
Yeah. Canvas it.
interior
Yeah.
perimeter and then an exterior perimeter,
Oh, I love
sizing
it.
up people and exits.
Do an alertness check for me, please.
All right. That's a okay, that's a 43. So what does that mean? One second, please stand by. 43 means alertness. Ooh, alertness is 50.
All
So
right.
that's like just a success, but who's that?
Excellent. So what you notice is you are going around this it's probably like a kind of like a strip mall-ish area, right? There's some other stores here and there. There's nothing that stands out to you there. But you do notice that there is a truck or two that has pulled in and it looks like they have camping gear. So you're kind of thinking, oh, maybe there's like a campsite sort of thing. Like there's some hikers around here that go through the woods.
Okay. And they're parked in our motel parking lot or
Yep.
like across the street or
Yeah, they're parked in the motel parking lot. And in fact, with the alertness, you'll see a couple of them walking in. Looks like they're just drinking a little bit, having a night, listening to into the chatter. It sounds like they're gonna go out tomorrow.
okay. Yeah, I'd love to try to just hear a little bit more if possible, but other than that, that's good, sizing it up.
Are you trying to be stealthy about it?
Yeah, I'll try to be a little stealthy, not like
Okay. Oh, I'm gonna make you roll a stealth then.
oh yeah. Stealthy? Should I be doing this? Oh yeah, I can do this. Look at that. Ooh, 16 out of 40.
Okay. Um, what you are hearing is a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of small talk here and there, but parts of this are sticking out to you. Particularly, they mention that while they're out in the woods, they should look for that circle, the stone spiral. And they're kind of talking about this like, I've heard it's kind of a teenager party spot. Why do we want to see it? It's like, yeah, it's kind of cool. I want to see it as long as we're going around the woods. And that probably sticks out to you
Yeah.
as uh an interest in the weird.
All right. Well, if I don't see anything else that's too peculiar, as long as I've got some exits, whether
Mhm.
windows and certain doors are
Oh
left
yeah.
unlocked, and understanding what side of the motel leads to where, I'll go back and I'll report that to Agent Carrot and call it a moment.
Yeah. Wonderful. In that case, I want to go over to Agent Kendrick. You've been waiting in the parking lot for a bit. What are you doing down there?
You know, he's in the military. He was in the military, right? So waiting around is like a huge fraction of what they do when you're
Hmm.
enlisted. So he's probably just kicking back in the car with the windows open, just watching people go by. Might have the radio on, but not loud, so you can still hear what's going on around. So just watching the world go by, waiting for the other agents to emerge.
Yeah. And after a bit, there is, you notice out behind the hospital. Actually, give me an alertness check as you're there.
41, and I have
Very
60, so
nice.
that's a success.
Very nice. Um, there's a flash of white for a second, and you focus in on it, and you've got kind of the snap eyesight that you need for this. There is a young girl, maybe 13-ish, walking in the woods behind the hospital. You just see her, like you're just seeing flashes of her between the trees, but it looks like she's wearing a hospital gown.
I will just try to watch. I don't think there's enough for me to be concerned about it overly, so I'm just going to watch her.
Hmm.
It's just unusual.
And in that case, you will see she walks a bit. She's going between these trees, and then she stops and her head snaps back and looks towards the hospital. And you see her mouth open in this pained looking scream, and she vanishes. Please roll a sanity check.
68, and that is I believe that's a failure.
Okay, roll a d4.
3.
Okay. Now, this is a good chance since we have some new players. Do you wish to push some of that sanity loss onto a bond? That would reduce the amount of sanity loss at the moment, keep you away from those dangerous breaking points where you get all those disorders.
I think I'll take this one as is.
Very nice. Very nice.
But yeah, that's definitely a noteworthy event. So was it, I'll just try to take note of where she was standing when she disappeared.
Yeah, you know, like eyelight wise, you could just walk out to it. You've got a pretty good view of it.
I might as well actually, since I'm not doing anything. Yeah, I'll get out of the car and walk over there. Have a look around.
And probably part of the sanity loss is you are looking around. You are not seeing any footsteps. You are seeing no traces that someone was there. But it's a little humider. It's a little, there's like a weird scent in the air, like a kind of an earthy, moldy smell almost. But it's like the kind of thing where you just walk by and it just wafts for just a second. You smell it.
Okay.
And
Then I guess I will walk back to the car.
and that's a good time as you are hearing you realize that that screaming that's very faintly coming from the hospital sure sounds like Agent Crispy. So let's rejoin Crispy. You are coming to at this moment and realizing your throat is raw.
Well, when he started screaming, of course, I was surprised, but my reaction would have been to step forward and put my hand over his eyes for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
Which,
And I mean, you're now just like that in front of a screaming person. It's only been a couple seconds. Like, as far as you're aware, he just out of the blue started screaming, and you can hear Robin screaming in the other room.
Nick,
And
snap out of it.
I'm coming out.
treating it like
Yeah,
I'm
you're
treating it
coming out
like
of it.
epilepsy.
Hands on. What?
If there's
What the fuck was
chairs in the
that?
hallway, I'll move him over to a chair and set him down.
And yeah, you realize that the doctor that is with you, Dr. Haugen, is you're kind of hearing her being like, "We need sedatives," sort of thing. Like she's bringing people in for Robin at this
Check
moment.
on Robin, yeah.
Setting.
Definitely check on Robin. I'm pulling myself together in the agent kind of distress tolerance way.
I'll give him an immediate check over. I'll look see if his pupils are dilated or
Yeah, I mean, he just had a massive shock of adrenaline.
And if the doctor went in there, I'll be like, "What happened? What did you see?"
I saw it's behind. And I'm gonna get up and start. It's behind. It's still. It was right. It was right. It was right. You didn't. It was right here.
Calm down.
I was hungry, and I felt the growing, and she was, and it was me, and behind oneness together, and it was all. And nothing. You didn't see nothing. You didn't see anything, hear anything. It was just this.
I'll look around. See, you think we can get out of here?
I think that's the best idea. I think I'd like to get some fresh air.
All right.
Yeah, and Agent Crispy, you were pointing kind of where you saw that thing. Right. Agent Kinsey, there's something in your mind that goes, he's pointing to the southwest. You just noticed the directionality of it.
Okay. But he wasn't pointing at Robin. He was pointing.
No, it's kind of
something.
kind of off back that way.
All right. So I'll sort of get the orientation of the hospital in my head and say, let's get out of here. Let's
guide me out, doctor.
We won't say goodbye. We won't do anything. We'll
Yeah.
just quickly move out of the hospital and head towards the car, and then probably wonder where Agent Kendrick is.
Yeah. That's a perfect time. You can just see him right over there.
Oh yeah, I'll be waiting with the car running. Once I heard Agent Crispy screaming, I'm like, oh yeah, they're gonna need a fast exit.
We'll both get into the back seat, and Kendrick can drive.
Oh.
All right. So
The fuck are you guys doing in there?
something very strange happened. We're not sure what it relates to at this point. We need to get back and consult with everybody, do some research. Crispy saw something.
There's something wrong about that
well,
girl. She saw the devil or hell or something, but it's not. I don't know if this is something y'all agents have seen before, but
No,
this is not
new.
normal.
This is new, and it's not normal.
I saw something too.
You saw
I mean,
something. What did you see?
I thought I saw something. Probably nothing. I thought I saw a girl in a hospital gown walking through the woods behind the hospital, and then I had my eye on her and she just vanished.
Okay, there's
And I walked out there and I took a look, and there were no footsteps, no tracks, no nothing.
All
And I
right.
don't know. I thought it smelled a little bit like a greenhouse, like kind of damp.
So if we're driving now, I'll be saying,
Yeah.
What seemed odd was Robin was willing to tell us that she had been doing drugs with her friends, but she was lying. What she was doing with her friends might have been something far worse. Have either of you ever heard of what's it called, hypergeometry? It's not a math class.
I'd like to imagine that I've
Yeah.
stumbled across it in my conspiracy researches.
Do I
Yeah.
look like I've heard of hypergeometry?
Okay, the theory is that witches of old had actually stumbled on something that actually did give them power, and Delta Green has labeled it hypergeometry. We'll just have to keep in mind that they may have stumbled upon something that has caused this 1,000-mile jump, and what just happened to Agent Crispy.
This goes much deeper than I ever imagined. The stare out across the landscape as it rolls.
I think that I'm stupid and that I'm going to try to comfort Agent Crispy by telling him some of the horrible things that I've seen as we're driving
I'm not even
back.
able to not listen.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall for this conversation. Sure.
Basically, as a medical practitioner, I have occasionally run across bodies that look perfectly normal on the outside until you cut them open. And then there's things that are more than just a mutation. Welcome to the world of Delta Green.
I guess it's just a night at the opera, isn't it?
Yeah, that really makes that headache you're working on feel really exciting. And we'll say you get back to the hotel very easily. You can see maybe the end of Kramer doing the ocular pat down of the environs. And the five of you are back together.
And we'll inform them of everything that has happened.
Is the direction, Kendrick, the direction of the girl that went into the woods and then vanished, is that the same direction that I was getting the gist from these hikers going out to the Spiral Rocks, roughly?
No, they're the spiral rocks are more like northwest, kind of by the golf course you're thinking from
Okay.
what they're saying, and this would be southwest.
I think you've got the right
direction
idea.
that Crispy had.
Can we use like Google Maps, which oftentimes gives you the orientation of buildings when you zoom in.
Yeah.
We could see how the hospital was shaped and which direction Agent Crispy was pointing in, and if that had to do with the girl and where she was located.
Well, it is interesting when you set that up. It doesn't take terribly long for you to realize that Alabama is to the southwest of Vermont. And yeah, roughly, I mean, it's pointing, so it's inexact, but
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. That's weird.
So wait, are we going to get another flag because her watch is going to suddenly show up in Alabama now?
Could there be some weird connection between the woods out here and something in Alabama?
My suspicions. What time is it now? And has the
we'll
sister
say,
arrived?
let's see, you were kind of doing this at 7 is when you arrived at the hospital, so we'll say 8:30 or so, just to kind of give you a right amount of time.
So the sister is just arriving and picking her up.
Yeah, you think that's probably about it. As a medical person, they might hold her for another few hours, Agent Kinsey, just because she got sedated.
Right.
They might hold her overnight, but you're pretty sure, family is there at this point. So the family doctor cover is almost certainly going to pretty quickly fall apart once
I
Emily
can't go
starts
back
talking.
there.
Yeah.
I can't go back
The woods that she came out of. We know the location. Is that the woods roughly in the direction of where the lady disappeared from, or again, not that the spiral rocks, the two totally different wooded areas?
Are they connected? Yeah.
Are they
Yeah,
connected?
it's tough to tell with that one.
You
Yeah.
mentioned a hiking trail to a spiral rock or something like
Mhm.
that. Tomorrow we can. Well, I'm talking to Kramer. We tomorrow maybe we can look into the folklore of this area. Maybe there's a historical society or their local library, and see if there's any reports of weirdness going on out here previously.
There's a church right there, dead smack in the middle of that circle. We could go talk to somebody there. See if
Oh,
they
Well, and
cared.
I'll be clear about that picture because that's a little confusing. That is in Alabama. That is like the last part there before she appeared. There's no map
Right.
for the Vermont location, which I wish there was, but uh yeah, that's kind of the same feel, but on the opposite side is, oh, there's a circle in the middle of the forest, kind of northwest of this
Yeah.
golf resort.
So
And are we just going to let this girl get away with her sister and go back to Alabama? She clearly
sure what
knows
we
things
can-
she hasn't told us.
I'm not sure what we can do otherwise. But it may be that we're going to have to split up and some of us are going to have to go to Alabama.
Well, if
And doing
she's
some
admitting to using
investigation.
drugs,
I think we should have a closer look at those woods first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we could detain them indirectly by not us up confronting, but maybe when she goes in, maybe something could happen to the car temporarily, or
we could do something like that. We got to be careful that they don't start asking questions, because they'll probably realize. Well, the Dr. Hugan will probably realize that I was somebody I wasn't supposed to be. At this point, I can't go back there.
And is there some sort of like transportation of illegal drugs across state lines that we now could potentially make inconvenient for her to delay?
Does it?
Like, I'm thinking of my ATF background.
Yeah. Do you have a criminology or law score that's pretty decent? Like 40 or up? Does anybody, I guess.
I have criminology at 50.
Yeah, I would say go ahead and roll that. You can at least get some
Eight.
time out of it. Yeah, I don't know the exact law you're going to manipulate towards it, but you think you can delay her at least through tomorrow. Like,
Very good. If we need
so
to.
basically 24 hours. If she would have been let out this morning, it would be the next morning. So you get an extra 24 hours.
You know what else? We can assume that if her sister is driving all the way here.
It sounds like she was flying.
Oh, okay. If she's flying all the way here, she may be too exhausted. I don't know that they're going to fly immediately back. You can find out where the sister is staying. We could stake them out.
Oh, what's our budget like? Are we funded? I'm just thinking, like, if there's only 2 motels in town, we could go to the other motel and rent out all the rooms. So she'd have to stay at our motel.
Which
Well,
one
that's-
of the expert agents is going to break it to Agent Kramer is the
Oh,
question.
That's a little bit out of our scope.
okay.
Besides, if there is only one other hotel, then we'll at least know where they are and we can still
Yeah.
watch them.
Yeah,
If
We don't
it's a small
necessarily
town.
want them to hear.
I love your ambition, but it's important to keep things in perspective. We're already conspicuous enough showing up and booking a couple of rooms and going to the hospital. Needed to sort of calm it down a little bit, work a
Well,
little bit more, in the background. If that means we're a step behind, that's okay, provided we can lunge forward and come back up to speed, so to speak.
I think tomorrow morning I'll do what I can to get some research on the lore of the place. See if there's, stories of witches or something in the woods or ghosts or we may be encountering a problem that's been going on for years that nobody ever bothered to, just got reported in the Inquirer and nobody paid any attention to it.
Yeah, because this sounds like another, not just Robin disappeared from Alabama to here, but now this other lady that you saw, Kendrick, disappeared. So
Yeah.
it seems like there could be, who knows how many are making these bizarre disappearances or teleportation, if you will.
See how many disappearances actually take place. In both cases, they said the woods. So the woods in Alabama and the woods out here. People go missing in the woods all the time.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a local paper of some description that will be reporting on this sort of stuff, even if it does come with vast conspiracy theories about the New World Order and how there are shadowy organizations working in the background.
I definitely think we should have a look at the woods because it's not like she's disappearing in the
Yeah.
hospital halls.
Definitely.
Right.
Woods,
So
I mean, we
I
could go to the
guess
woods right
towards
now.
that- yeah,
We could go grab
it's not that late.
torches and just go to
That's true.
the golf course right now.
yeah.
Not to detain us too much, but Agent Crispy, when you felt that horrible void-like presence behind you, did you get a sense like, oh, I'm sorry, did you, out of character, did you mention that to us?
I think I'll have updated you, perhaps not in great phenomenological detail, but enough to say I had this strange experience. There was a sensing of a thing.
All right. Thanks. So when you experienced that, did that seem like it was a presence of a person or people, individuals, or like this big phenomena outside the hospital?
That's a good question, Handler.
You don't want to think about the scope of it in its enormity. You kind of think big, but your mind shuts that down from thinking about an actual scale.
Just too big.
it's too much to think about.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry for bringing that up. It just sparked in my mind that it seems like it's happened to multiple people, and this hospital seems to be where they congregate, which makes me a little suspicious about the people at the hospital. Just putting that out there.
I'm actually thinking that for precautionary reasons, I need to get a baseline on all of us, to look for physiological changes if something happens.
Hmm.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think that
And
would be a pretty straightforward thing to do overnight is, get the basics.
yeah,
Um,
now normal heart rate, normal blood pressure, those sorts of things. I'm also kind of curious to see if there's anything unusual about Agent Crispy at this point, marks
mhm.
that have shown up or rashes or anything like that. Did I see anything on the girl that was unusual?
Yeah, you didn't have a lot of like you
Right,
didn't
she wouldn't let
really
me touch
examine
her.
her up close, right? From just where you were,
Right,
scratches, like that's about it.
from the trees and
Yeah.
stuff. But you know what? It is significant that she was terrified of me touching her. Um, it almost felt like a reaction that a rape victim might have if you approach them too quickly. The I don't know if it's like PTSD.
Yeah, kind of similar. That would have showed up on the doctor's report though, and there was no anything of that sort.
I should have asked the doctor if she had any trouble examining her.
Did you mention I, Agent Crispy, have a headache? I mean, I imagine I'm
Yes.
sort of in a bad mood, but I have a
Yeah,
headache and I
yeah.
still have a headache.
Yeah, the kind of headache you get when you have that massive like blood rush and then it's kind of cooling down. And that's pretty well backed up by Agent Kinsey looking you over it. You seem normal, maybe a bit more tired than usual. And yeah, the kind of that headache that's just low end in the background.
I'll
Kind of
give
like
him something, some
kind of like
Aleve or something. Yeah.
kind of like an Agent Jeebers headache. Hmm.
I'm
Hmm.
trying not to go there right now. I don't.
Take
Well,
a
I mean, it's
Flintstone fucking
interesting.
vitamin and suck it up.
It's it's interesting that Agent Kramer brings that up. Now, there shouldn't be any kind of connection between our handler and the situation at hand. But let's keep that in the back of our head because it was fatigue. You can't mistake normal fatigue for um, induced fatigue. She had drugs in her system, but they were sedatives. The kind of sedatives that make you forget. You give them to somebody who's broken their arm while you reset their arm so that they don't remember the pain. That's an odd thing. That's certainly not a recreational drug. Um, was she experiencing some trauma that she needed to forget? I don't know. There's a big mystery. We've still got a lot of missing pieces.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the question is you've spent a half hour, getting baselines, you're writing down everybody's information. It's seems pretty good. It's rolling around 9 o'clock at this point. Are you guys planning to go out? You staying in? What's the
Oh,
plan?
You know what? I can do computer research and try to find out any lore on the town.
Mhm.
And if you guys want to go out and search the woods or look in the woods, be careful and call me if you end up in Alabama.
Definitely going to the woods.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm backing up Kendrick.
Yep.
And this time I will take a gun, actually. I will take a
Yeah.
pistol, though.
Makes
Don't
sense.
shoot any teenagers that happen to be on makeout point or anything.
Right.
All
So
right.
we'll need to source
No.
a proper map of the area before we
Yeah.
A
get on it.
topographical map. Maybe we can
Yeah.
find one of those online. And
I think you
We could print one out
easily
very
could.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Carrot
Park
especially, you
Service would
have
have it.
tons of searching knowledge. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so you do have a map, and now that you are explicitly looking for this, yeah, you see there's a little spot marked as a tourist attraction, kind of. Now that's not quite right, like a natural site, more of like a yeah, the circular stones or something.
Very cool.
And you maybe you even look it up a little online, and you do see some people that have obviously taken pictures of this. They're not very good. They're pretty old pictures. Looks like spray painted up stones, and the people that took them weren't exactly great photographers. So they're kind of like, look, it's a circle, and you're like, yeah, I can kind of see it, but it's not really the same. So is Carrot and Crispy, what are you two doing?
I'm going to accompany the two gun nuts, so there's someone who can run away if they get eaten.
I'll go with them to make it an even four. I'm curious about the spiral rock. Uh, it's dark out, it's nighttime, but as we're waving our flashlights around, do I have any particular light sensitivity? Anything strange going on with that?
I mean, if you point it right in your eyes, it does kind of spike your headache, but beyond that, you almost don't need your flashlights. The moon is out and it is nice and bright.
Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be enough.
And it is, as thick as the trees are, it's still going down through them. And you can pretty easily get out into these woods, and you're hearing all the beautiful sounds of nature. Uh, some of you probably love hiking, some of you may not, but you enjoy that in the dark-ish for a bit before you come across, as you expected, a circle of stones in the ground. They look old, but it's difficult to tell because they have been very heavily graffitied over. And just from there's beer cases around, there's bottles, uh, all sorts of party paraphernalia. If you can think of it, it's probably there somewhere in there in some state. You could probably even find some half full ones if you really went looking.
Is it way out in the
But
woods? Is it a location that's visible from any building?
no, it's way out in the woods. Like you've had to walk for a few hours, so we'll kind of catch up with Kinsey on the other side of that. But yeah, it's you walked out a bit. It's probably about midnight by the time you arrive, and looking around, the only thing you really see is a pond, and maybe way off down there you can see where the trees have been cut down for the golf course. So you kind of have like a patch there where there's nothing. But all in all, this is a great place to go if you just want to party and have nobody see you. And stone-wise too, they're not really that impressive, right? Like we're not talking Stonehenge. We're talking maybe about yay big, set up in this circle.
I'll
They're
search
big,
around
but
among the beer bottles and debris and just see if there's anything unusual.
make a search roll. Are the other agents doing something similar, something different?
I
Do
got a
do
90 over 60, so that's a fail.
Okay, you find some more beer.
is it safe to say that with the any surveillance equipment, we might have like a couple little transponder cameras to feed back to the laptop?
Sure. Yeah,
I I'd like
I
to
can buy that.
set one up sort of in an inconspicuous location, sort of like halfway up a tree, kind of in the general direction of those stones.
Okay.
Sort of take that in and then turn it on.
Okay. I love it. Kramer's setting up a video. What about Carrot?
Well, I'm keeping an eye on the signal bars on my phone as we're wandering around.
It's not good, man. It's
Yeah.
it's real rough. You're probably
Yeah.
getting the same sort of roaming thing, right?
Yeah. I wanna once we finish up looking around here, I'm gonna keep an eye on it, figure out roughly whereabouts in the woods it's gonna come back, or if it doesn't come back at all, and then
Mhm.
uh using that information to sort of tighten my this is where she showed up circle a little bit.
Yeah, do a search roll.
Certainly. 15. I succeeded something. Oh my goodness.
Okay. I like it.
Yeah.
Um, let's say in this case that Kinsey and Crispy described, or maybe in some of these photographs, you saw the dress that Robin was wearing that night. It's kind of like a sundress thing. We'll say yellow. And would you believe you are kind of looking around, you're doing the cell phone thing, and you see just kind of caught in a bramble, there is a bit of that same yellow cloth.
Oh shit. Okay. I will call out to my fellow agents. Come over here. Photograph it,
Yep, yep.
bag it, tag it.
Uh, Agent Crispy, can you make an alertness roll for me?
Oh boy. 78. Definitely a failure. 78 over 50.
Yeah. You are, where are you kind of walking? Like, what are you doing, Crispy, as you're going around?
I think the sense of oneness I felt wasn't necessarily a bad thing. And so I'm going to try and commune a little bit with the rocks. Like I'm
Hmm.
sort of a little bit tired, a little bit half delirious. We've had a long day. I'm worried about Davis. I hope I've heard something, but that's the handler's discretion.
Okay.
And I'm trying to commune with these rocks. Just like
Okay.
look
Um,
up.
I love it. You are standing there. You do hear Carrot in the background. He's saying like, "Hey guys, come over here." You're seeing the little flashes of a camera going, and you close your eyes, and there is a moisture to the air. It's very clammy and not clammy. That implies coldness. It is warm, like moist, humidity. Um, the air smells like salt water is hitting your nostrils. You've closed your eyes and you're touching this rock. You're just eyes closed, breathing that strange smell in. There's sounds of buzzing, like large insects floating around.
And these smells and sounds I'm getting through my communion with the rocks, but aren't something I was experiencing
They are
before.
not something you were experiencing before. And when you start to realize you're feeling the warmth of the sun on your body,
I'm gonna slowly open my eyes and just barely glance at my hands and see, am I in light?
well, you are. It is full daylight, and you don't see the other three around you because you are not in a forest anymore. You are standing on a small island in the middle of this ocean all around you. There's like you can see the stones are still there, but they look fresh, sort of like sharper edges, hasn't been worn down by time. And there's little oysters around in the water, sprits in water. There's ferns. Do you have any biology, paleontology, anything like that?
Forensics?
No, no. There's
No, it's a
something you're looking at like the ferns and stuff you have there, and I will say you don't recognize anything that you're looking at. It's very confusing.
Mhm.
but your eyes also are still adjusting to the sunlight. You can feel it, and you're starting to look up. You see that these kind of up in the sky, there's these little buzzing lights, like gigantic fireflies just zipping around.
I want to be careful here. I, Crispy, am not sure whether I'm having another vision, right? I think maybe I'm hallucinating. I want to keep my hands on the rock, but I'm curious about my surroundings, I guess. Is there any evidence of, in character, is there any evidence of any human motion? Is there any, all this garbage is gone?
Everything is
it's
gone. Yeah.
Definitely the same rock formation.
Yes, it absolutely is. Um, and you feel, as you're kind of looking around, you feel this pulse, like a heartbeat, just ripple out through the water. You can almost feel little waves. The oysters seem to react and jolt as this wave passes through you from behind you.
And I bet I feel the skin cells growing and shedding
Yeah,
off.
it's that same feeling.
That's not bad necessarily from how you described it. It's more just like in touch with cosmic universal. Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. I'm afraid that if I lift my hands off the thing,
Okay.
I'll be lost for good. So that's one option. I can't really ask for help in character, but if any of the other players have an idea, I would gladly hear it. I mean, if the handler thinks that's kind of talk is appropriate.
Sure. Yeah. You're sitting there, you're running through in your mind, what would these guys tell me to do?
Exactly. Otherwise, I may take in a deep breath and scream my guts out like I did at the hospital. I think that feels like an appropriate, just like absolutely let everything go and through and feel the waves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're just screaming and your voice is giving out. The other three don't hear anything. Like, we'll get back to those three, but they are not here.
Oh boy. Then I think I have to. And
Yeah,
these
there's
things
that
flying around above.
pulse behind you. Yeah, again, that pulse.
And the guys above are not concerned. The bugs, the
Uh,
fireflies.
do a search on those.
Okay. Oof. 90 over 50.
Okay. They kind of hurt to look at. Like you're seeing them and you're seeing like the little after images as they're floating through the air.
Interesting.
But yeah, you can't get this feeling out. And you feel another
I'm
pulse
stumped.
behind you.
I really don't want to stop touching. Well, maybe I do want to stop touching the rock. What does it feel like to begin to slowly peel my fingers away?
You're peeling them back, and I mean it's like a loss of warmth because the rocks were warm from the sun, but there's no, you feel no, it seems okay.
And I'm just here. I'm not like flickering between different places.
No, you're here. This feels
Here
right,
I
man.
am. Oh, Linda's gonna kill me for this. And I guess I lie back and appreciate the sun. The warm afternoon. I'm just on a little island, right?
Do you look behind you? Because you
I
can
guess
feel there's something there.
that makes sense. Yeah. So I'm standing in the circle in the inner perimeter facing out, right? So I take my hands off
Yeah.
and I turn around towards the center of the circle.
Yeah. And roll me a sanity roll.
Oh boy.
As you are seeing
88! Critical failure.
Okay. All right. Let me just double check something.
I'm excited.
Okay.
Poor Agent
Take-
Crispy.
take 8 sanity.
Nice.
Gain 8 unnatural.
Gain 8 unnatural. That's a skill.
Yes.
Ooh,
That
okay.
is a skill that you don't usually get.
Interesting.
And you are seeing now what you before you felt this presence, hey, uh, out in the distance, and it was big. And you realize now, looking out in the water, that was stupid. That thing was so absolutely minuscule to the size of whatever it is under the water that is like, when you look in the sun for a little bit and you look down, there's just that negative spot. It is a horizon spanning version of that, just pulsing out this energy, and you can feel that connection pulling at you, and that feels like your true mother. Like, this is kind of the sanity sort of thing, is everything in this moment that you were like, yeah, I grew up believing this, believing that washes away in this moment. Whatever this is the real thing. It connects everyone. Like, this is it. And that's when you snap back to the rocks. And the other 3 can make a alertness check, please. Yep, yep. All right. Kramer, you've been keeping an eye out. No. Okay. Kramer's keeping an eye out. Carrot, Kendrick, you're looking at this dress. Um, Kramer, corner of your eye, you're watching Crispy touch the stones, and he vanishes. And then a couple seconds later, appears about 3 feet in the air on the other side of the stone and just falls to the ground.
Wow. Good. Crispy. I run over to Crispy to make sure he's okay, and I call out to him as I run over.
I think I'm a little delirious. Linda? Is that Linda
Yeah.
Davis?
Crispy.
We just hear a thump.
Yeah.
We turn around and he's on the ground. Like, what
Crispy,
the hell?
Crispy, are you okay? I check him quickly over for any noticeable wounds or anything like that.
Patting him down, he's kind of warm, like he's been in the sun for a little bit.
Are you
Kind of smells funny too. Yeah.
Are you can you see me? Crispy, do you know who I am? How many fingers am I holding up?
3, Agent Kramer, you're here. You came. I'm gonna hug him and start sobbing.
Yeah, you disappeared for a second. You blinked out. Where did you go?
I was everywhere. I saw it. I saw that's gone now. It's so long ago. Just like incoherently sobbing into his shoulder and just probably squeezing him hard enough to be a little uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. Guys, something we need to, when Crispy gets a little more coherent, we need to figure out how he triggered this, if he triggered it, or was he selected, or what's going on. We do have the footage. I had the camera set up, broadcasting already for it. Oh, quick note to the handler.
Yes.
Yeah, for a surveillance camera, I would hope that it doesn't have a flashing red light. It should.
Yeah.
It should be like covert, right? I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure. I thought it was meant for flashing red light. If there was, I was going to cover that up. But
Yeah.
okay.
No, it's a Kodak with a little rubber band and one of those dipper birds. No, absolutely. Yeah, you've got something there, and yes, you're pretty sure it is streaming right now to Kinsey's laptop.
Yeah.
So if he was paying attention to this feed, he probably will see that too. We'll see about that in a second. But I do want, let me see what we've got here. Agent Carrot, go ahead and give me a power roll.
61 on a 75.
You are watching Kramer and Crispy. They're hugging. Kendrick will, if there's anything you're doing, I don't know if you're just kind of looking on.
Yeah, I think actually he's going to be watching their six. That's his instinct would be
Yeah,
to, like,
yeah.
yeah.
Carrot, you are watching the two of them, and it's it's difficult to see at first, but there is a line from the southwest, like a strand of something that is connected to Agent Crispy, right? Kind of at the core, like a dark after effect sort of feeling that it's difficult to see. It kind of shifts in your vision, and it's just going through this like the trees, and you look down at yourself. You have one too, a little fainter, but it thumbs like when you pluck a violin string.
We need to leave now.
I'm with you, Carrot. Finally,
I'm going to
someone.
start booking it.
I'm right after him.
All right. I love it. So the agents are running out of the woods. Before we leave for the night, let's check on an Agent Kinsey.
So I would have been researching lore in the area and something. And when when Kramer set up the camera, I would have heard the blink like that, and I would have looked over and made sure
Mhm.
everything was recording also into the computer. Then I probably went back to research. So it was just the camera was over here on the screen.
Yeah, so as you're
Up
going through the internet, do you have any occult?
Colt.
Yeah.
I have 40.
Okay. Go ahead and make a roll at plus 20.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
regular pass.
Um, you do find some sites that are saying like, oh yes, this place is haunted by old ghosts, vampires, that sort of thing. You're also seeing some tales of puckwudgies, which are like little gray-skinned goblins that have magical powers, and like it's one of the those old myths where they're like, oh, they can be funny or they can kill you. It kind of depends.
That's
Can
like,
you
yeah,
spell
like
that?
the fairy circles that
Yeah, yeah,
you
that
walk
sort of
in
thing.
and you come out 300 years later.
Yeah, yeah. So you're seeing stuff like, oh yeah, they'll play pranks on people, or do the kind of like, oh,
Right,
we'll set them on fire a little bit. That'd be funny. And it's funny until it's too much fire.
right. Typical dark woods fair, fear of the dark woods.
Mhm.
Um, any recent disappearances? I'll look through
Mhm.
the newspapers.
You're looking through there, you're not finding anything. Like
Hmm.
you find the local paper, like you said, you're not seeing any news. There wouldn't be anything printed yet for Robin necessarily.
Right,
Um, but also just looking at the internet history of this town, like a small kind of town paper, you're not seeing like a lot of things of this person randomly appeared here or disappeared here.
right.
It seems pretty quiet. And as you're looking through these, like this hotel room, you're kind of set at one of those little desks, right?
Yeah,
You look up, and one of the hotel beds has been made up, and there's very clearly a small child's form just lying back under one of these blankets.
about that about that size.
Yeah,
Teenager child, a little child, or a baby?
Probably about like 8 years old.
8-year-old.
If I had to grab a random number.
But so all I'm seeing the bed with the bumps in it as
Yep.
if somebody was there.
Yep.
I look over and stand up slowly. Hello. And I'll walk towards it. It's completely under the sheets.
It's completely under the sheets, and as you're getting closer, there's a waft of rot that is reaching your nostrils.
I will step forward. I will, we only live once, so I'll grab a hold of the sheets and flip them back suddenly.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what's there.
And I want you to make a sanity roll as you rip back these blankets. And for a split second, how'd you do?
36 out of 70.
Okay, just one.
Okay.
And this is for violence in this case. Because what you see is very clearly a disinterred child's body that has been left to you're a medical guy. There's some corner of you that's going, this is just a body that has sat out for years and just rotted away into the bed. And you can see the sheets are stained and decaying themselves. And in a flash, it's gone.
Before I could get my research out stuff.
Yeah. And there's just a small girl's voice next to you, just by your side. Sylvia doesn't want to play right now. She's tired.
Nothing's there.
Yeah, there's nothing there.
I will do two things. One is I will immediately go over and write down exactly what she said. Sylvia doesn't want to play right now. She's tired. And I'll catch my breath and I will go back over to the bed and I will look at it, examine it, lean forward and smell, see if I can still smell decay. Is there an impression left in the bed?
No.
From the body? No. I will pull off the sheets to see if there is evidence on the mattress itself that something rotted there.
No, you're stripping this whole bed down and there's nothing there.
Interesting. I will write all that down. And then maybe as I turn back around, I see all of them running away from the circle.
That's a perfect time to take it up. Yeah, you see Carrot leading the charge into the woods as the group escapes there. And it feels very lonely in your hotel room all of a sudden.
Yeah. I think I'll
leave
order
it there
a pizza
for the week.
I'll order a pizza since I figure they're coming back. All right. Our players included Stuart Lively, Stefan Amshi, Riley Kruger, Preston Firestone, and myself with Nathan Decker as the handler. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Delta Green role-playing game. Until next time, good luck, good gaming.